2010 AP Micro FRQ. This is a labor question. I've kind of gone ahead and filled in some of my table here. They give us our marginal revenue product. We know the marginal revenue product is marginal product times the price of the good, which would give us our marginal revenue product. And we tend to want to always compare that with our marginal revenue cost. Now, notice that these numbers are the same as these numbers. I just moved them over here in a more familiar way that I like to deal with them, right? And I went ahead and figured out they gave us the price of the good here. It says the table above is a short run marginal revenue product of labor per day for the perfectly competitive firm. The firm is currently selling its product at a market price of $5. So I had the $5 price here, and it's just $5 all the way down. And then they gave me my marginal revenue product. So all I had to do was go back and take my marginal revenue product divided by the price. And obviously that's going to give me my marginal product. So make sure you understand where the numbers come from, right? And I just sort of reversed it here. Usually what they do is they're going to give you the total product and you have to find marginal product. In this situation, they just kind of threw something new at us and gave us the marginal revenue product, and we had to go back and find the marginal product. Make sure you know where these numbers come from. Again, the formula is marginal product times the price of the good is going to give me my marginal revenue product. So they're going to say calculate the marginal physical product of the third worker. So the third worker marginal product is 90. This is the same thing as marginal physical product. Just understand that your marginal physical product is just a change in total product over a change in quantity. Our change in total product is 1. 2 to 3 is 1, 3 to 4 is 1, 4 to 5. So this change in quantity is 1. We're really just interested in our change in total product, which would give us our marginal product. That's a lot of gobbledygook. It's hard to understand there. Anyway, marginal physical product for the College Board is always just marginal product. Define the law of diminishing marginal returns and explain why it occurs. It is as we add, and it occurs for the same reason, as we add more inputs. Now in this situation, inputs means workers. As we add more workers to our fixed capital. In this situation, I would assume fixed capital would be like our factory. As we add more and more workers to our fixed capital, at first we get an increase in production. Sorry, this is kind of sloppy. But over time, as we add more and more inputs, our production would decrease. And just write it out. That would explain why, define the law of diminishing marginal returns and why it occurs. It occurs because of this fixed capital, right? That as you add more and more workers or inputs to that fixed capital, think of a taco truck, right? Here's our taco truck. That's a terrible taco truck. Anyway, here's our taco truck. We can only fit like 3 people in here, right? If you try to shove a 4th guy and a 5th guy in here, the first guy has to do it all, right? We hire him, and he has to take the order, he has to take the money, he has to change the money, he has to cook the tacos, he has to bag it all up and hand it to the customer and make sure it gets to the right customer. We hire the second guy. Now they can kind of split the jobs up, right? In essence, our marginal product shows that happening. In essence, what happens is as I hire the first guy here, I start getting this increase in marginal product. Each worker produces more and then more, right? As these workers are producing more and more, they are working together. And in this situation, we're only going to have 2 workers that are perfectly situated. The first 2 workers work together. One person takes the order, one person cooks the tacos. They split up the jobs and they're very efficient at it. And that's why we get this marginal product increase. Recognize that your marginal product curve is a mirror image of your marginal cost curve. So as marginal product increases, your marginal costs are falling because all your workers are producing more output. At some point where marginal product maximizes, this is where your diminishing marginal return sets in, where your marginal cost minimizes, this is where diminishing marginal return sets in. Every worker you hire after that would produce less and less, and that's why the marginal product keeps falling. Obviously, for every worker I hire after that produces less and less would drive my costs up. Not only am I hiring them, they're making less stuff, so my costs would go up. So it starts obviously with the hiring of the third worker. Can you see where marginal product starts declining there? That would have to be with the third worker. The third worker is where we can see marginal product decreasing, and we can see that it decreases continuously. Whereas here, our marginal product was going up from the first to the second and then starts decreasing with the third. Third worker. What is the highest daily wage the firm is willing to pay the fifth worker? Now, the fifth worker brings in, that's what your marginal revenue product shows. It shows that this worker brings in $300. He produces 60, what are we making? Does it tell us? Doesn't tell us. He's producing 60 of something. We can charge $5 for each of those that we sell. So he brings in $300 into our company. So the max we would want to pay this guy is $300. Now, that doesn't make a lot of sense. If we paid him $300 and he only brought in $300, are we really making any money? The technical answer is no. But don't be pedantic in this situation. If you said you weren't going to hire the fifth guy, then you got to explain why you don't hire the fifth guy. Just understand that we always want to hire where marginal revenue product equals marginal revenue cost. That is why we hire the fifth worker. Because at $300, the wage of what we would pay this guy, this is what he'd bring in, that would be the last worker we would hire. Don't think too hard about it. Just know that that's the place in this one that we would answer. All right. What will happen to the demand for labor if the market price of the product increases? Understand, again, that this is the wage, quantity of labor hired. If it's a perfectly competitive labor market, the wage would be $300 here, and this would be supply of labor, marginal revenue cost, marginal factor cost. And then demand for labor is downward sloping here, and this would be our marginal revenue product. Now, again, we find our marginal revenue product by doing marginal product times the price of the good. That gives us our marginal. If the price of the good goes up, it implies that the marginal revenue product has to go up. So if our marginal revenue product increases because the price of the good increases, demand for labor and marginal revenue product would shift to the right. We could see we would hire more quantity of labor due to that scenario up there. The demand for labor would increase, and we would explain it just by saying marginal revenue product is found by the marginal product times the price of the good. When the price of the good goes up, marginal revenue product has to go up. Therefore, demand for labor has to increase. We would find it profitable to hire more workers. Sloppy. This is sloppy. But this is not the best table to work on. If you haven't done labor questions before, go back to some of the other ones and make sure that you sort of understand these tables. And that we do them almost the same way every time, and you get used to all the questions. Hopefully it'll make more sense after you do about 3 or 4 of these. All right, guys, be safe. Take care. Bye.